Good afternoon, Instagram and YouTube. I'm Alexander with High Winds EDC, and today I'm going to be talking to you about a couple of good little EDC items. They're in my pocket right now. This is the Knipex Cobra 4-inch and the Knipex Cobra 5-inch set of pliers. But before I do that, do a little bit of a pocket check. Very minimal. I just got home from work, so I'm not carrying anything that I do not really need. So I got a watch, my G-Shock. I don't know what model or series it is off the cranium, but I have my Demco 80-20.5, and the reason why is because I had to put some Loctite on my 20S yesterday night, and I'm going to let it sit for about 12 hours. It's probably been about 12 hours, but I'm gonna let it just sit so that way it was having a issue with the pivot backing out. So all's fine. It's nothing new to the EDC world. Anyways, so let's get into it. These Knipex pliers, I like them a lot. But what I would originally EDC was this. I made a video. My very first YouTube video was about a set of pliers on a leather sheet that you can put on your belt loop or put on your belt and carry it around. And I use this all the time. I did a lot of irrigation, landscaping irrigation for my uncle, and these came in handy when I worked in a metal fab shop, and I would set industrial size trucking scales, weigh scales. I use these for nuts, bolts, picking up hot cherries from when we were torching off metal or welding or stuff like that. So that's what that is. That was my very first video. I said, you could do a lot with this. Obviously, it works as a set of pliers. It has a slip joint feature, so if you needed a little bit bigger purchase on whatever you were holding, whatever nut or item, whatever it was, you could just really good EDC stainless steel item. I use mine as a pry bar very frequently whenever I started working at Texas Tech for like valve lids, manhole covers. It's a good little EDC item, relatively inexpensive. And then I kind of switched over to my Leatherman Free P2. I'll put a review out on this eventually. Got a lot to say about it. But anyways, really good set. And then I saw these little things on Instagram. Saw people have them in their little EDC pouches or put them in their pockets or whatnot, and they're cool little things. I like it. So let's get into it a little bit. First thing I will say is the size is very convenient. I have very small hands, but the 4-inch pair of pliers, the 4-inch pair of pliers is very small and minimal, and I can throw this in my pocket not having trouble. This one is a little different. It is a little larger. The ease of use on this one is a little more difficult. So you see, that's just kind of how that one goes. They do lock into place though, so once you find the right spot, it's going to lock into place very well on whatever nut, bolt. If you have a piece of hose or a clamp on a piece of hose or something like that, very easy to just grip onto, and you're there. You don't have to worry about pressing the button or locking yourself, or not locking yourself, but kind of going the direction you don't need to, closing it up. This one is a little more intuitive. You can just do this one one-handed all the way through. Sometimes I just bump it on my chest, set it to the bolt or the nut or to the hose or whatever, and just crimp it down to where it needs to be, and then I'm good to go. But so that's what these look like in hand, especially in my hands. I'll compare them to the only other thing that I have to compare it to, which is a pair of pliers, a regular set of slip joint pliers. So here you can see it's significantly smaller than just a regular set of slip joint pliers. For EDC, I think the Knipex are actually really good. I can see why these would be sought after in like somebody's toolbox. If you're a plumber, if you're an irrigator, even if you are a welder or a mechanic, I can see you carrying these. I see it all the time at work. One of the guys I work with, his name is I won't name him, but he's a mechanic at Texas Tech, And he carries a small crescent wrench, one of those little adjustable crescent wrenches that you can spin. He keeps one of those on there for like battery terminals, other stuff, and just it's just a really good tool. I showed him these and he really liked them, and I think he got himself a set. I don't know if he carries it every day, but yeah, I like this. One of the best features about these, I will say, is their ability to, once you get onto the, like, if there's not a lot of clearance around, oh cool. Okay, so let's say that this is a bolt, and let's say it's right up against a wall or something, or it's right up against a like a battery terminal or a housing or some sort of frame. You can easily just come up to it, grab it, and the way these the way the profile is, they give you a lot of room. There's not a lot of margin for error, I guess is what I'm trying to say. You can really purchase up on the nut or bolt or whatever very easily. And I was able to get into really tight spots with these ones. These ones, I'm kind of like a not so much. I'm indifferent on these ones. I actually prefer this one because of the one-handed ability to use these. It's really easy to, and there's not actually a ton of difference in the actual amount of space that you can reach with these, because this one, this is as open as they get, and look, they're virtually identical, and then closed, you see. But obviously this one you can operate with the button. The button I like because it locks it in place, but with this one I can just keep redoing, like, oh, I accidentally didn't get it right, oh, I accidentally slipped off and then I messed it up. I can just easily, very easy. Whereas this one, it's just going to keep your work area, keep your clamp area very consistent, and that's good too. So each one has their own strengths, but each one has their own drawbacks. One thing I do know about these two is I do not feel comfortable using them as pry bars. Like with this one, I can use as a pry bar, and I'm not really scared to do it. But with something like these, it has a spring in the back of this pair. I wouldn't want to damage the spring or pop off the screw that holds the spring or anything like that. I do like the grips on this one. It's got a little bit of, I guess what you would call just added security, added safety for, like, if you're messing with something electrical, you can kind of bear down over here. You got a little bit of redundancy, and good for gripping, especially when things are wet. I have been able to stick my hand in like a water valve or something like that and either tighten a bolt, tighten a solenoid or something like that with both of these, and it works. They work really well underwater, which is something that I appreciate. Not a whole lot of rusting. The coating on both of these lasts. It takes its bumps and bruises and stuff, and I really like these as EDC items. Whenever I don't want to put this on my belt, I definitely will throw this in my pocket on a regular EDC day, on a regular day going to the mall, going somewhere, because you just never know. You could always use a pair of pliers, and I'm not saying that this is a self-defense thing. I don't carry a knuckle, like a pair of brass nuts on me or something like that, but you could always like slip this between your fingers or something like that and give you a little bit of a reach or something, or poke somebody's eye out. Not really. But it's a cool thing. I don't condone violence of any sort, but always be ready. So anyways, so you can always just do something like that. It's just something that I noticed. Let's see what else. Sorry, I got a little bit of rust pitting right on the inside, but that's probably just where it gets carried the most and where the sweat is coming from my jeans and coming through my jeans and stuff. These work really well. Like I said, underwater, they work really well on all of my mowers. There have been times where we've had to, like, just, grab a nut from the back and tighten up a bolt. And they work really well. I think they work better than the pliers for holding a nut in place because of the adjustability, and the teeth are very fine. But as fine as they are, as small and fine as they are, they don't strip out the nuts and bolts and stuff as easily as those do, which I don't know why that is. It just happened to be the case. So these are very good tools, very quality. They're made with high quality parts and tolerances, I guess, would be the thing to say about that. Sorry, I'm stumbling over my words a little bit, but I really want to get these out. And it is cold in the shade right now, so I'm actually kind of really chilly. These are good EDC tools. I recommend them if you, like I said, if you're a plumber and you're working underneath sinks and stuff like that. This is a very good alternative for small, if you have small couplings or small nuts and bolts and stuff like that. I highly recommend these. But other than that, let's see. Like I said, can't really use them for prying, especially like this, because look, this is as wide as this one opens, and this is as wide as this one opens. It's not like I can pry, and then my hand is caught in the mouth, and just not a good thing, not a good prying situation here. I will say on this one, when I first got it, I think I dropped it or I was fucking with it and the backside came off of it. That was user error. Obviously, I'm not going to sit here and bash it because of that, because I wasn't using the tool properly. But even still, just be cautious of that. This is where your internal housing is to that operates kind of like the ratchet. It's not necessarily a ratchet, but it holds it in place. So yeah, just be careful with that. And this one does have a spring that is screwed in. So this is a failure point. I do believe that this is a point of failure. So be careful. Always watch this screw. Make sure it's tightened down on this one, especially if it's riding in your pocket. And if you're pulling it in your pocket, pulling it in and out of your pocket, that spring is definitely a point of failure. But other than that, it hasn't failed me yet. So I will say that is for the good. A point that I thought, oh man, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna last. It has. I will say though, this is very tight. I've tried to, bend it out myself, but it is very tight. It is a good little spring. So they rust a little bit, but they are made of strong material, a strong steel. I'm assuming. So yeah, good little pocket tools. This one rides in the pocket a little bit easier than this one, but if I couple this with one of my pry bars, my Glow Rhino pry bar, or my I forget what they're called, my Bird of Pry bar, I couple these two together, I can knock anything out really. Especially whenever carrying a multi-tool sometimes isn't ideal for like light carry. I know this isn't necessarily the heaviest thing in the world, but it is an inconvenience to either carry in your pocket on like a Saturday afternoon or something like that, and you also don't want to carry a Leatherman when you go shopping at the mall or something like that, but you still want to just have like a pair of pliers handy, because there have been times I've been called out while me and my brother me and my fiance are like walking around or something like that. My brother calls me, hey, I need some help, my battery is dead and I need to go get a new one. Stuff like that happens. That's all I need to get the battery terminals off, get it out of the housing, and take it to Walmart, get it swapped out or whatever the case may be. Just small emergencies. These come in handy. And for EDC, I stand by these. I would recommend them to anybody. Now we're going to talk about the price, because the reason why I raved about this is because the whole assembly, like the sheath and the pliers themselves, I think the most I spend is $13 on both of those combined. This is a $30 pair of pliers. I can see why people wouldn't want to spend a $30 pair of pliers, because you can go to the Home Depot, you can get the Crescent brand channel lock that they have, and it's like $7 or something like that, maybe even 10. But I wouldn't say it's a high dollar item. This is $30, and this is like maybe $3 more. So I think if this is $35, this is gonna be like $38 or something. So altogether with these two pliers, it's $60 for two sets of pliers. That's gonna set you back. That's the only drawback that I would say, that you have these things and they're not as versatile as, let's say, these pairs of pliers. I can get a lot done, and I'm not going to care about a $6 pair of pliers as much as I would if I were to lose one of these in a manhole. I'd be a little upset. If I were to lose one of these in a valve box, or whenever I was excavating a hole or something like that, I'd be a lot more inclined to be mad if I gave these to somebody and they didn't give them back. This, I'm like, hey, do you got my pair of pliers? It's okay, man. I can go get another set. It's no problem. Or I can just go to a random toolbox at work and pull out a pair of pliers and just replace them. You know what I mean? So just be cautious. They are really good. I've never lost them, but that's also because I don't hand them to anybody I don't trust. And I also, very mindful, if I'm going to put my hand in a valve box, I'm going to be ready to lose it for, a couple of days till the valve's out. But anyways, guys, that is the Knipex Cobra. This is the XS, so extra small. It's a 4-inch set of pliers, and this is the Knipex 5-inch set of pliers. These are going to be my lifetime tools. I mean, I don't think I'm ever going to get rid of these because really they work for me. They're good for the front pocket too, just in case I'm at work. We have two front pockets, right and left. And, I can just throw them in there real quick, do what I'm doing, and then pull it out, and whatever I'm working on is really good. They work really well as a crimp set. We have to crimp a lot of aluminum, little crimp bullets for flags and stuff like that, and these work a lot. These work way better than my pliers, honestly, for crimping small bullets. Maybe they'll work on some of those electrical copper bullets, but I haven't tried it yet, so I'm not going to speak to that effect. But the aluminum ones, these things are awesome. So yeah, Knipex pliers, made in Germany. So if that bothers you, don't purchase them. There is a man on Instagram. I'll kind of shout him out because I think what he's doing with these are pretty cool. His name is EDC Outlaw, I believe. And he takes these pairs of Knipex pliers and he Cerakotes them. He takes apart the internal mechanism. He Cerakotes them with like a battle-worn red, battle-worn yellow, Deadpool red, and all this other cool stuff. Like, it's really cool what he does. He takes a $30 pair of pliers, makes it like a $60 pair of pliers. But it's really got to be your thing. You got to be really like into using your pliers every day if you're going to go off and do something like that. So anyways, guys, I appreciate it. Thank you for watching this plier video. It's been really cool. Thank you for joining me, and I'll try and get another video out with maybe here in the next coming few days. Thank you, guys. God bless you.